The inaugural UFL season is underway and it seems to be going well. We think the challenges of a spring football league are vast, and finding suitable teams and venues is probably the biggest challenge the UFL faces moving forward. Well, that and staying alive. Let's look at the 8 stadiums that the UFL is being played in and critique every one, with them being ranked worst to first. Rice Stadium, Houston, Texas. Easily the shittiest and most outdated stadium on this list, Rice Stadium has been around since 1950 and is the home of the Houston Roughnecks. What's crazy is this stadium hosted Super Bowl VIII because the New Orleans Superdome wasn't ready at the time. It wasn't even good back then and hasn't gotten much better. The north end zone was demolished in 2006, and at times the upper deck has been deemed unstable. Rice University, which owns the stadium, has continued to explore renovation options. However, no concrete plans are on the books. Get it? Concrete? The rent must be cheap here though. Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, Memphis, Tennessee. Another older stadium configuration, the Liberty Bowl, aka Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium as it's now known, actually has hosted NFL games when the Titans first expanded in 1997. They were known as the Tennessee Oilers back then. Does Tennessee even have oil wells? Maybe that's the greasy music scene in Nashville. The Liberty Bowl is in the same style, nearly identical as Tulane Stadium and Tampa Stadium, long demolished arenas that both hosted Super Bowls. The stadium was refurbished in 2013, where it received new turf, a paint job, and a new jumbotron, and now the Memphis Showboats, which is the coolest name in the UFL, shares the stadium with the Memphis Tigers. Let's see how long the stadium lasts. Choctaw Stadium, Arlington, Texas. Still one of the wildest configurations for a football stadium. Choctaw Stadium was once a Major League Baseball field, but was converted into a college football stadium in 2020. Opened in 1994 as the ballpark and then replaced in 2019 by Globe Life Field, which shares the parking lot. I guess it was just easier not to tear this thing down and use it for football that will never quite properly fit in it. Like, is nobody upset about the offset seating and odd angles? Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, which is actually located in Oklahoma, bought the naming rights in 2021, and now the Arlington Renegades play here and essentially are the building's main tenants. Seriously, the stadium is making my autism act up. The Alamo Dome, San Antonio, Texas. Not far down the road is the world famous Alamo Dome, which is not named after Alamo Rent-A-Car. It's named after the actual Alamo. I hope you please remember that.
Can't you remember anything?
I remember the Alamo.
This is the most multi-use stadium I think I have ever seen, as it can be configured for baseball, football, hockey, basketball, soccer, rodeos, swap meets, and even a paper airplane contest if they so feel. Opened in 1993, the Alamo Dome is the home of the San Antonio Brahmas, but is often used for cannon fodder for luring an MLB or NHL team to the area. It was the host of the Spurs for 9 years. Overall, I think the place is nice and well kept, and it has one really valuable asset: air conditioning. The Dome at America Center, St. Louis, Missouri. The stadium that was the center of a bitter lawsuit between the NFL, Stan Kroenke, and the city of St. Louis. The Dome at America Center was built in 1995 to lure the St. Louis Rams, but then was abandoned by the Rams in 2015, leaving the city high and dry and in massive debt. The city tried to fund a new stadium, but Rams owner Stan Kroenke basically shut down any proposals and hightailed it out to his Taj Mahal of football opulence in Los Angeles, known as SoFi Stadium. The city sued and actually won their case. The Dome had sat empty until 2020 when the XFL started, then shut down, and it sat abandoned again for 3 years, and now the Battlehawks resumed occupation of the Dome this year. Exterior wise, it looks solid. However, it's an adequate to average facility inside, but at least it's built as a football focused stadium, and one of the few on this list whose main tenant is actually the UFL. Kind of points to St. Louis's desperation. Protective Stadium, Birmingham, Alabama. The newest stadium in the UFL, Protective Stadium, was opened in 2021 and fits your standard mid-level college football stadium model, as it is both the home of the Birmingham Stallions and the UAB Blazers. I guess it's a nice, symmetrical, and clean stadium. Nothing is particularly interesting or charming about it. It just gets the job done and checks off the boxes for what you would need for a football stadium. Yeah, sometimes I hate on cookie cutters, but then you need cookies. So Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan. Easily the nicest stadium in the UFL. Ford Field is the home of the Michigan Panthers. Opened in 2002, this has been a top flight dome stadium in the NFL for years and is far and beyond the top caliber indoor venue for the UFL. However, it's not the best stadium in the league, as I will explain why for the next entry. Ford Field has hosted both the Final Four, the Frozen Four, and a Super Bowl, and will host the Final Four again in 2027. They also host marching band competitions here, which I assume are lit as fuck. And finally, the best stadium in the UFL, Audi Field, Washington, D.C. Though not rendered in Google Earth quite yet, Audi Field, the home of the DC Defenders, is the best UFL stadium because it's actually the perfect capacity at 20,000. It's modern and intimate, and the fans are right on top of the action. It's also in a cool area of town and has a metro stop close by, Navy Yard. But really, if we are going to tell you why it's the best stadium, it's the atmosphere. You can't top the beer snake, just a bunch of fans getting wasted in unison. Good luck to the UFL. I hope the league makes it. Please subscribe and like and do all the things. This is a new channel. I hope it works out. I hope you love stadium content because that's all I'm posting here. Let's do it.